Hello everyone. Today in this video we are going to see local and global transfer in Oracle HCM Cloud. In Oracle HCM Cloud, the work relationship of the person will be with the legal employer. So when it comes to transfer, let's say a location change or a department change that happens within the legal employer is called as local transfer. Wherein if the transfer is happening from one legal employer to another legal employer, then that is called as global transfer. If you look at the diagram here, this person's current work relationship is with legal employer 1 and he is being transferred to another department with another location within the legal employer, then that is called a local transfer. However, another scenario goes like this. This person is being transferred from legal employer 1 to legal employer 2 is called as global transfer. And based on the nature of the global transfer, it again bifurcated into two types, that is permanent global transfer and temporary global transfer. Temporary global transfer is something where the work relationship with the source legal employer will be kept active and the person is expected to be back to the source legal employer after some point in time. Wherein in permanent global transfer, the work relationship with the source legal employer will be terminated and the person is not expected to be back to the source legal employer. And another key point to be noted when it comes to transfer is primary work relationship. This actually comes into picture when we have more than one work relationship active in any point in time. There will not be any scope of having more than one active work relationship either in local transfer or in global permanent transfer, because in local transfer there will be only one legal employer involved, and in global permanent transfer, yes, there are two legal employers involved, but the work relationship with the source legal employer will be terminated. So the only global transfer where we will have more than one work relationship active is global temporary transfer. So when we do the global temporary transfer, as a HR user, we have the flexibility of choosing where to keep the primary work relationship. Should that be with the source legal employer or should that be with the destination legal employer? Yes, that's basically based on how the requirement is. There are a lot of functionalities such as absence, OTL time cards, or predominantly works based on the primary work relationship. So we will have to evaluate how the requirement is, then accordingly we have to keep the primary work relationship either in source legal employer or in the destination legal employer, but definitely not in both. And another question, how one can do a transfer in system? We can use action functionality in worker assignment page, or we can use a quick action named local or global transfer. I'm going to go ahead to the next slide. See, here we have list of activities. I'm going to cover a local transfer, a global temporary transfer, and also global permanent transfer. Now I'm going to do all of these activities one by one. The first one is local transfer. I'm going to transfer one employee from one location to another location within the same legal employer. I'm going to do this transfer using the action functionalities in worker assignment page. To do that, I am currently under my client groups and we need to click on the person management icon to query the employee. I have the person record available in the system to do this exercise. I'm going to bring up the employee record. Yeah, now we have the employee record populated here. To get into the worker assignment page, I need to just click on the name. Now we are in the worker assignment page. If you look at this employee record, this employee was hired as of 23rd March 2021, and this is the first assignment record for the employee, and there is no subsequent update happened for this record. Now this transfer is all about changing the location. The employee is currently working in Redwood City. I'm going to transfer this employee from Redwood City to New York as of today. To do that, I need to click on edit here, update, because I'm going to initiate this transfer as of today. Then I click on action, I select transfer, then location change as the action reason, then click on OK. Now all of these fields became editable for us. I scroll down to the location field and I update the location as New York. Then I scroll up to click on review button. Now we can quickly do a review of our current changes. The current location is Redwood City and the proposed location is New York. Yes, we are fine with the change. I scroll up and then I go ahead and click on the submit button. Now we have successfully transferred this employee from Redwood City to New York as of today, that is 8th May 2021, within the same legal employer. The next activity that I am going to do is the global temporary transfer. In this exercise, I am going to transfer one person from one legal employer to another legal employer. And as I mentioned earlier, in global temporary transfer, we have the flexibility of keeping the work relationship either at the source legal employer or at the destination legal employer based on the requirement. In this exercise, I'm going to keep the work relationship within the source legal employer, that is US1 legal entity. Let us do that in the system. Now I am in my client groups. I click on person management. I'm going to bring up the same person record which we have used for local transfer. I just removed the latest assignment change, that is the location change for that person, so that we can reuse that person record for this exercise as well. Now if you look at this transfer is all about the legal employer change. I'm going to click on edit button here and click on update, and I'm going to keep the date as it is because I want to initiate this transfer as of today, but we can still change the effective start date if we wanted to do. And I'm going to click on global temporary assignment from action field. And as soon as I selected that value, if you see, some other fields are populated automatically. Now I need to select the destination legal employer, which we know it is Australia legal entity. Okay, this field, copy primary assignment data. So here we have an option just to copy these assignment details from the primary assignment of US legal entity to the destination legal employer. And this is optional just to reduce the manual entry effort, but it is just copying the data from this assignment to the destination assignment, but we have an option to still override those values there. So it is completely up to us to select yes or no. And this is a key field, create primary work relationship. The default option selected is no. That means this action is going to keep the primary work relationship with the source legal employer. And that is what we are going to do that for this exercise as well. But we have a flexibility of keeping the primary work relationship with the destination legal employer as well based on the requirement, not only at this stage but also later point in time using the work relationship page. I click on OK. Now we have another prompt that says select the assignment status for the source legal employer. The default assignment status selected there is suspended payroll eligible. I am going to keep as it is and I am going to click on OK. Now the person details for the destination legal employer has been populated here for us to update and save. I'm going to keep this identification and personal information fields as it is, but we can still override the values if we want. So here I am updating the employment information for the destination legal employer. I am selecting Australia business unit. And I am selecting other assignment fields required for the destination legal employer. So entered some basic details such as department and job. Now we are at the review page. We can quickly review the person record that we are going to create in the destination legal employer. If you look at the legal employer details and the hire date and all other details, then we can go ahead and click on the submit button to create the record. Now we have successfully transferred this employee from US1 legal employer to Australia legal employer on a temporary basis. Now we can bring up both the person records here. Yeah, if you see, the first record is a Australia legal employer record, and the second record is the US1 legal employer record, and this is the source legal employer and this is the destination legal employer. And now both the work relationship is active, but as I mentioned earlier, the primary work relationship should be with the US1 legal employer. We can go ahead and check that now. To check that, I'm going to go into work relationship page. If you see here, the primary flag is set to yes for US1 legal entity, which is the source legal employer for this activity. Now we can also go ahead and check the primary flag in the Australia legal employer as well. I'm just closing this down. See, the primary flag for Australia legal entity is set to no. And one more point to be noted here, we know this is a global temporary transfer. That means in some point in time the person has to be brought back to the source legal employer, and to do that we need to get into the worker assignment of the destination legal employer record and then click on edit, click on update. Here set the end date of the global transfer. I am setting it as 20th May 2021, and here I'm selecting end global temporary assignment and click on OK to do that. And we'll have to just click on OK. The effective date that we set at the assignment page is displayed here as a termination date. Click on review and then submit. Now we have successfully completed the global temporary transfer and we brought back the employee to the source legal employer as well. The next activity is the third one in this table, which is global permanent transfer. In this activity, I'm going to transfer one person from one legal employer to another legal employer on a permanent basis. The source legal employer would be UK legal entity and the destination legal employer would be US1 legal entity. If you look at the primary work relationship column here, this is mentioned as destination. Here we don't have a choice to set it as source. The reason is when we do a global permanent transfer, the work relationship with the source legal employer would be terminated. So we don't have any scope to keep the primary work relationship at source here. Let us do this activity in the system now. We are going to use this employee record for this exercise. I'm going to click on the name of the employee to get into the worker assignment page. This person is employed with UK legal entity since 1st February 2021. Now I'm going to do the global permanent transfer activity using the action functionality here. I'm going to click on edit and update. I'm going to initiate this transfer with effect from 8th May 2021, and I am selecting global transfer as an action here. As soon as global transfer is selected as an action, here some fields are auto populated. I'm going to bring up US1 legal employer here. I click on OK. Here we have got another prompt to select the assignment status. The default value populated here is inactive payroll eligible because this record will be terminated. I'm going to keep this value as it is. I click on OK. Here the person details are populated for the destination legal employer for us to update and save. I'm going to keep the values as it is for identification and person information. In employment information, I'm entering the details for the new legal employer. Here I'm going to bring up US1 business unit. I'm going to fill up few basic assignment details here. Here we can review the person detail that we are going to create for the destination legal employer. Then we can go ahead and submit the request. Now we have completed all the 3 activities in the system. You can also make a note of the navigations to be used. This is the end of this video. I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.